Welcome back to VibeCheck, where we check the vibe of people in the industry using the world's universal language, which is, of course, music. You know who it is already, but before I introduce myself, I'm going to let my good friend, talented writer himself, and, of course, the best afro in the whole of South London, say his piece. It's Aruna Jalla.
Thank you, love. I've been growing it for a minute, but it hasn't come out.
Right.
I'm here with a brilliant friend, good at advice, hasn't been in relationships, but good at giving relationship advice, which is strange.
Okay.
Artistic.
Wow.
What?
Do you know how sly that is?
No.
That's a sly one.
Let me expose my man. Because 30 seconds ago, he was like, yeah, we're going to do a really nice intro, blah, blah, blah.
Wholesome episode.
What's going on?
I feel a bit snaked right now. Anyway, thank you very much.
You did deserve it.
Yeah. Ben Question.
Thank you. And we've got, as always, my not blood brother, but very well could be, phenomenal actor, deviser, theatre maker, all round the board guy. You love him. You love to see it. It's Kai Shaw. Everybody.
Is that in? Ooh. And just below me on screen, we have our special guest for today. You can catch him in Baghdad Central inside number 9, but you can definitely catch him in We Hunt Together, Alibi's brand new series, which he is, of course, the lead. But don't get it twisted. He's an actor as well, but he's a damn good writer, for sure. I can back that up.
What?
Of course, it's Dipo Ola. What are you saying, Mike? Hello.
Hey, I like it. I like that one. I like that one.
Also, the self-proclaimed king of R&B, but
I am. I went to a Stormzy concert once, and he had a set. I don't know if you've been to one of his live sets. He's got a set where he's just like, yo, all the man them go away. I'm just talking to ladies now. It's called Stiff Chocolate Sessions.
Oh, of course.
Yeah,
so that's I'm taking it on. You know, you see the red velvet do-rag.
I was gonna say.
You know what it means.
Soft.
You know what it means.
Shout out to Thundercat.
Yeah, I love it.
Real.
What you saying, man? How are you? How's things?
I'm good, man. I'm just taking every day as it goes, doing all that kind of stuff, enjoying the weather when it's nice, when it's not, just playing PlayStation, trying to keep creative and all that, but mostly just enjoying the kind of lack of, you know. I was when I talk to my parents normally, so my parents are Nigerian. Normally, when they're like, "What you doing?" Like I could never say nothing. Do you know what I mean? So, but now they call me, I'm like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Nothing." They're like, "Okay, just as long as you're staying safe." So, like, I'm really enjoying that.
Okay. Yeah. I was gonna say, are they getting on to you for saying you're doing nothing?
Nah, man. They're just like, listen, just don't leave the house. Whatever you do, just don't leave the house.
Get on to you for not doing anything during quarantine. That'd be crazy.
You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. I know a couple people.
These rise and grind Twitter guys.
Rise and grind. Yeah.
Right then, shall we?
Yeah.
Let's get right into it. So, of course, we ask our guests to send us 4 songs, one of which is their most recently listened to song, and the other 3 songs are based on a set of 9 questions that they have to answer using a song, which we then get to guess. So, the first song that you sent us, which is your most recently listened to song, was PARTYNEXTDOOR, Trauma. So, we're getting straight into the R&B, innit? You didn't waste no time?
Listen, man, PARTYNEXTDOOR, one of my favorites.
Really?
One of my favorites, and an incredible songwriter as well. If you look at the songs he's written, like his catalog is amazing. I love the guy. I love him.
For those that don't know, PARTYNEXTDOOR wrote Rihanna's verses for work.
Yeah. Do you know what's mad?
Yeah. He's one of these guys that is just kind of like around for me. He's not. I don't know how to put it because he's not like a feature artist. Like we've discussed before about people that are feature artists and they just need help. He's not one of these people. But some of his best work is when he pops onto other people's tunes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. He's got a very, very strong, like, first verse. Like, sometimes I make music and, like, what's very difficult is when you have a very strong first verse and the second verse, you're like, I've given you everything in the first verse, man. I can't do anything else. Do you know what I mean? I've given you everything in the first verse. I just want the song to end after a minute and a half. But sometimes he can, but, like, mostly he's very, very good at just kind of, like, the first verse popping. Like, even when, like, his tune with Drake, Come and See Me, like, that when he starts, does it make sense? And you're like, oh, this is cold. So cold.
I've never actually listened to a project of his, you know. Ever.
Say that again?
I've never listened to a project of his.
You
Oh,
haven't?
you should do. You should listen to either his most recent album or one of he's got like PNDs, so like PND 103,
Yeah.
123. In fact, any of them. I say any of them. They're good. They're
Really?
good.
Okay, cool.
Okay. I need to check this out properly. I feel like I've definitely been sleeping on him. But he's also just one of these names that I just expect to pop up in a feature thing, and I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
Okay.
It's interesting though. I like this. I did like this new album. There was like weird Future vibes from it though. Like I feel like he was talking a lot of that toxic masculinity stuff that he kind of touched on before, but like it was prominent in this one.
Yeah, he sounds like he's been through it over the last couple of years in his album. Sure. Somebody has to challenge Future. We can't just have Future on toxic masculinity.
It's true.
Someone who does do it, but they hide and not hide, but like the aesthetic of their music is very misleading. It's Brent Faiyaz. A lot of his stuff is very, very very seedy. These guys out here doing like one of these lines was like just because I have sex with you doesn't mean I love you or something like that. And it was just like, wow. Like, wow. And girls are like, yes. But yeah.
The voice, man.
That's about it's about 50% of the R&B genre though. I still remember back in the day listening to John Legend's what's the album with the gold cover? Oh, it's not The Ordinary. It's the one with Ordinary People on it anyway.
Okay,
that whole album is just about him cheating and then saying, I'm not cheating anymore, and then cheating again. But back then, when I was about 10, I was living for it. I was like, I want to be in love.
Usher, Confessions. Album.
You're not wrong.
I mean,
you're not wrong. Me and Arun have been chatting about this a lot actually. With have you heard of Giveon?
No, I haven't.
So he's an up and coming R&B artist. There's one song called "Favorite Mistake." Bro, it's toxic, but it's beautiful.
It's beautiful. He's a criminal. He's an absolute criminal.
Beautifully toxic.
The worst thing is the video is nice as well. The video is looking a bit nice.
With leather pants.
But I feel like every great artist, regardless, gives us like a really toxic album. Like you think because I was re-listening to My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, and that's a very toxic. You know what I mean? That's a what that's a way like but that one like even like songs like Heartless, and you're like this is you could change after listening to this music.
You're not wrong.
The whole new personality.
Everything. Switch up.
Alright. So this is the part where we guess which songs are attributed to which question. So the first song we have is a classic. It's Candy Girl by New Edition. This could be many ones. I don't know yet.
I want to say, out of all the guests we've had on this show, the 3 songs you've submitted are probably the hardest that I've had to guess. Like they could be like 4 or 5 questions, all of them.
That's what we like.
Challenge.
Challenge day. It's challenge day.
I want to say it's a song that relates to how you first got into the theatre or the industry, but that's a complete shot in the dark, to be honest.
He's got a poker face, fam. You can't even read it.
No. I want to say this is your shower song. I don't know why, but I want to say it's your shower song.
I say shower song too.
Okay,
shower song as well. Yeah. So let me quickly just remind myself which songs. Let me just quickly. Okay. Okay. You would be correct. This is my shower song. Candy Girl New Edition. Candy Girl New Edition. Candy Girl. Wow. It's me and my best friend. It's our favorite song as well.
Bro.
My girls like candy. Candy treat. She nice. But it's too pure.
It is. And it's ironic because it reminds me of the time when, especially for New Edition anyway, reminds me of a time when R&B was sort of bordering on that point where it was starting to get a little bit more toxic. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, facilitated by He Who Shall Not Be Named. He was a big facilitator in the kind of transition from, R&B from being like, I mean, I miss the days when man were just crying in the rain, you know? You know what I mean? That's what, like,
I miss those videos. 100%.
I miss those videos, man. Like, that's one thing I want in my career. I I want to be in a music video where I'm just crying and dancing in the rain, you know, like body pop it. I just want to do it, man. You know what I mean? I want it.
100%.
Full Chris Brown vibes. Oh dear.
Oh god.
The one that comes to mind is Usher, really.
Yeah. Usher. Usher. And you know what? Thinking back to that time, like there's a lot of like weirdo ones a little bit, because I was listening to the Mario Winans I Don't Want to Know. That's like the ultimate sideman song. Come on. Okay, if you're cheating, I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I said, if you're cheating, keep it on the low.
You can't have it.
We need to have there's a thin line between. It is, man.
Because I would argue that, ironically, another guy, Mario, Just a Friend, is also a heavy sideman song.
Ooh, he was a.
And you know what? Let Me Love You as well. Let Me Love You. I'm not toxic enough to be the main guy, but you know, when you sing that song, you're like the guy who's at, you know, when you're in a club and you're like, babes, where's my hug? Babes, where's my hug? You're that guy. Where's my hug? Won't you let me love you? Huh? You know what I mean?
Don't leave me.
Don't leave me. Hey,
what's everyone in the crew?
Come on, man. It sounds to everybody.
Jesus Christ. I think something that really stood out to me, because I've not heard this song in ages. How it sounded so similar, because we just bang it in the playlist and I was playing it in the background thinking about the questions. I was like, this can't be a Jackson 5 song that I'm hearing. And then,
common misconception, very common.
Yeah,
very. Everybody thinks it's Jackson 5, and obviously, like, it's the same as like when you hear like there was that new guy that came out from Coventry and he sounded just like Jay Huss. Don't know if you. Yeah. It's just like it happens on this day. It just happens in genres. They just have people that just sound like that, and like New Edition, Jackson 5. It's bound to.
That's super interesting now. Now I'm wondering, is Jay Huss the equivalent of Michael Jackson in that genre?
Whoa. You've left me. You've left me.
In terms of like being influenced in that level.
We pose these questions.
But no, actually, to be fair, he has such a distinctive style that if you go anywhere near it, you're gonna be copywriting in a way. It's gonna be, you know what I mean? It's like when Future and Designer, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When Designer came out of Panda, I saw a meme when Future was like, when did I record this? It's interesting. Yeah, you don't have to be Michael Jackson in terms of legacy to influence people. So I you know what? I take it. You didn't leave me. Don't leave me. You didn't.
Don't leave me.
Don't leave me.
PA is harder. Like hearing him, he's like just come out and fam. He's wavy. He does sound like Jay Huss. And I don't know if I want to hear a Jay Huss and PA track together, because I don't know who's going to be who. I'm not going to lie to you. They sound so similar. They're so hard. When did you hear that, Candy Girl? When did you hear it? When was the first time you heard that song?
I think just in the house when I was younger. Or maybe I just stumbled across it on YouTube, and it's just like the beat just bang, bang, you know, it just gets you straight away from the off. And it's just like, you're like, what is this? And then it just takes you, and it's such a wholesome song as well.
Yeah, it really is.
So it's hard not to, you know what I mean, to just blast it. So
it's a wavy track.
100%. Let's move on. The next song is Something About You by Majid Jordan. Before I even get into what I think this is, I'm so happy you put this on your playlist. Because I forgot about this song. And I used to bang this song out.
Yeah.
Nah. It fully gassed me.
Something about you. Yeah, it's true. It's wavy. And for ages, I didn't realize there were two people. I thought Majid Jordan was one guy's name, but it's two guys.
It's two guys. Whoa. And they just put their... Is it their first name together?
Yeah. I think it's the first name.
Together. Yeah, it's two guys.
This is news to me. I've learned about this right now.
Listen, man. Listen. We're here to spread knowledge, you know. We lay the seeds. Yeah, man.
I'm saying this is a song that's helped you creatively. Again, I've got no impetus for that as to why. Taking shots in the dark.
I agree, actually. I agree. A song that's helped you creatively.
A song that describes your career.
Describes my career? No. Nah, this is a song that's helped me creatively.
Hey,
This one is.
big dub.
This one is.
How so? How's the song
This
got to
was.
you?
It was. You know, I was. When lockdown first hit, I had this idea for this film, which like looks at kind of like reincarnation and stuff like that.
Cool.
And the kind of basis of it is that like what happens when you die. Like there's a guy who dies like 20 years in like the early noughties, and then he feels like he's reincarnated in a different body, a different soul, but with all his memories. So like the story plays out where he meets his ex-fiance that he was married to, and obviously she's just a person now and she doesn't know him. But then he starts dating the daughter, and he has no idea that is actually his kid from 20 years ago. So like, but obviously he didn't realize that his fiance at the time was pregnant, right? And so that kind of happens. So the song when they first start dating is, you know, something about you. Like there's something about her that is like just reminds him of his fiance. Obviously he hasn't met the mum yet. And then I wanted to be in the film that you then like so then like he meets the mum, they stay over, realizes, and then like they have a conversation where she tells the guy, oh yeah, that was, you know, the daughter was, you know, for the guy that I was engaged to who died. And then, you know, he sneaks back into the room where he was staying with the daughter, and then like they have sex, and she has like daddy issues. She's like, oh yeah, some stuff like that. And then that song plays again, like slowed, like something about you is in your weird man. So,
that's sticky. That is so sticky.
Yeah. But
wow.
yeah, it really helped me creatively. So and I think it's such a versatile song as well. So it's interesting.
When you're creating, because obviously, like I said in the introduction, you're not just an actor, you're a writer as well. When you're creating, do you normally draw heavily on music, or do you just kind of draw from a mixture of things like personal experience?
Expeditiously on music, man. Like I would like to create playlists. Like for the play that I was developing before with my writing partner Sophie, with XYXX, which is just kind of like the male and female chromosomes, whatever. We had a playlist of songs that we kind of were referencing while we wrote. And yeah, man, I love music. I love the influence of it. It has such a kind of emotional change on me, and I like to try and utilize that as much within the work.
Have you found trying to like create on lockdown? Obviously, you've written this whole film, which sounds pretty sick. But like, I know speaking to a lot of different people, they have different kind of struggles. I find being in this kind of scenario and trying to trigger the creative.
Yeah, there's two things that really helped me. One is like not waiting to be inspired to create or write or anything, because I can't always wait for inspiration. So it's like early on in lockdown, I was like, do 5 pages, even if it's crap, even if it's rubbish, just do 5 pages. Because sometimes you never know. You just get to it, set yourself a goal and like a deadline to say, I need to have 90 pages by this time so I could do a reading on Zoom with some friends and get feedback. Another one was that actually Sophie, she brought to me, which was a thing she learned. And I think it was a Maktab theatre. I'm not sure, but it was, you set yourself like a 2-minute timer and you say, just write something bad, like as bad as you can. It's like literally just terrible. And then like you read it back and you're like, oh, this ain't that bad actually, you know? And it's just like, but then like, because you never pressure yourself in the same way to like set down a 2-minute timer and go write something amazing, like your Olivier winning play, you know what I mean? So it was good to kind of just get over the kind of preconception of you writing something that's going to be bad and just kind of power through that and just understand that, you know, it will change.
That's wavy. I want to ask you about reincarnation. Like, do you think it's a thing?
Yeah, it was reincarnated, but more like the soul or like the essence of someone, or like how that passes through kind of generations. And I think it's something that's possible, because I've had times in my life where I've kind of, I felt like I've dreamt about somebody, and then like I've never met them before, then I've seen them the next day or something like that. And it might not be that like that might be a person from a different whatever, but it might be that like my unconscious have seen that person like six years ago, and then, you know what I mean, it's that memory's been going on, and then for some reason I see them. So it kind of yeah, I do really wonder about the whole kind of reincarnation, because obviously we'll never really know, but I think it's an interesting theme to play with, because it doesn't have to be so far-fetched. It can just be kind of like I don't feel like me.
Mm.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, that is interesting. All right, let's go on to the final song, which is a classic, an absolute classic. It is U Turn by Usher.
Oh yeah.
Come on. You powered through the R&B.
This again could be any one of them for any reason. I feel like it's a song that relates to how you first got into the industry.
Okay.
I don't know why.
I've gone for
But
Shower Song.
Well,
But that's wild because the first song was Shower Song. So.
yeah,
Yeah.
I was waiting for that to dawn on you still.
It dawned on me from when I said it, but I basically what I'm doing is I'm firming the L.
So I was like, okay, we'll just let it slide. And
I'm firming the L now, so I can't firm the L later. I've put it on myself.
we like accountability. We like it. It's very important in this day and age.
I think it's your a song that relates to you getting into theatre. The first time you got into theatre.
Interesting.
Ben, are you gonna stick with Shower Song?
Yeah.
No, already.
Fuck it.
Yeah. No. Well, actually, it's just it's a song that I think there's a question. It's a song that most. What's the first question?
A song that sums up your work.
A song that sounds like that. Right?
Is it that?
No, because there's a couple that are like quite similar in word, and I want to just make sure I'm not saying the wrong thing. Yeah, song that sums up my work.
Oh,
okay.
How's that?
That's
an interesting one.
I think it's not necessarily like the work that I do, but the way I try to approach my work, which is the song's called U Turn, and you can take that very literal, you take it as like a as a dance move, but I think everybody, like, we all get the same, like, we all go to drama school. I don't, like, you know what I mean? We all go to this, we all learn the same things, but it's about, so it's basically my U-turn will be different to your U-turn, to your U-turn, to your U-turn. That's how I see, like, my work, is that, we all have the same capabilities, but, like, it's not about kind of producing the same work based off the capabilities. It's about producing my version of the work based off of my capabilities and how I interpret, put your hands up, bend your knees. It's about that, you know what I mean? And it's the individualism of that song that I want to keep into my work, which is like, this is how I want to do things. So, and also just kind of like, sometimes when I get in like a twist of certain things where I feel like I'm going down a route that's kind of a dead end, I like to just, let's go, back to front, do it all again. Let's just start again and go over. Just, yeah. And also like the fun of it as well, because I think we forget as actors that it's supposed to be fun. It's a play. We play characters. So it's fun. It just reminds me to be fun.
It is super interesting. Like, the more I work in the back of the industry as a producer in those kind of roles, the more I see that the individuality does pay off more than just like. Because I think every drama school spends so much time breaking someone down to be a mold of something. But then when it comes to audition rooms and actual like casting conversations that people have, having that sense of individuality is what will push you over the edge to being successful in getting wherever it is that you've gone for. Which I think is a really hard message to get across to people. And like, you can't say be yourself, because then it's like,
no, I would encourage people to see it this way: is think about when whatever it is, a play or audition, like when people, especially people I feel like are in the position who are coming into the industry behind me, because I'm only out 2 years, but this idea of like, how do you come across? I always say to them, like, if you were doing like a film for 3 months, right? Would you want to work with not your talent, but like, would you want to hang around with you for 3 months? That's how you got to look at it. Like, I know I can be quite difficult, but I'm a nice guy. You know what I mean? I make a lot of jokes. Like, I know for the most part, like 80% of people are either going to like me, or do you know what I mean? But it's like, if they don't even get an opportunity to know if it's you, then you're already like, it's already working against you, because we don't want to, because it takes a lot to be kind of this professional person like all the time. And it's a bit boring, because people like personality. That's what I feel like that's what directors like, and that's what they hire, because like talent is kind of irrelevant because there's so many talented people.
Yeah.
I'd rather work with a nice person or somebody who's amusing or really like I remember when I was first auditioning, I got a job in a music video because me and the director, I swear, me and the director, we had the same snapback on. And I swear that's why I got the job. It's just like, he just tells you something. Do you know what I mean? We had the same hat on. That's my guy. He's my, do you know what I mean?
Mm.
So I think it's very important to let your own personality to shine through.
It's big facts though, because like everyone would rather work with their friend than a stranger. I think most of the time.
Yeah.
You want to bring your friends into the bag, innit?
Facts.
Everyone's trying to secure
Exactly.
the bag. You might as well get your friend to secure the bag. So if
Exactly.
you're friends with the people that are getting you the job, then
It's just easy. It's easier from day one as opposed to, you know, I now know this person on day 14, whereas I get to know this person from the off. Like I know who they are, I know how they work. It's a no-brainer for me, but
Yeah.
it is what it is, man.
It is what it is.
That
Let's
being
talk about
said,
very,
people
very
say-
quickly, just really quickly touch on, obviously you mentioned drama school. We're in a very interesting time right now, where obviously at the time of recording this, we're kind of like a couple of weeks into a lot of heavy Black Lives Matter protesting, and particularly a lot of drama school students have been starting to, you know, call out their drama schools for just to do better, essentially, and do better by their BAME students. I wanted to quickly talk about, like, for you, how important was it for you to maintain your individuality at drama school, and how difficult was it at times to feel like, you know, it was trying to be kind of suppressed in a way?
I think the tricky thing is that, you know, they spend the majority of it up until around showcase time going, break you down, this is what you do, this is how you do it. And then it's like one day they all come in and like, okay, now go be yourself and show everybody how great you are. And you're like, bro, you've been telling me this, not to do this for the last 2.5 years. It's not a switch. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's, I think it can be a very, like, I'll never discount drama school in terms of the training, because I think the training is very important and it does give you those tools. But I think a lot of the other stuff is you know, doesn't need to happen. And I'm not one personally for congratulating people on kind of like what is deemed as like a basic right. You know, equality isn't, you know, it's not, I shouldn't be patting you on the back for striving for equality, you know. So I think it's just I think what they need to do in the main is be proactive instead of reactive, which is what they've always historically been.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that needs to change.
100%.
Yeah.
That's because, like, as you were talking about that, I'm a person that, having like graduated last year, I'm seeing the effects of me not being an individual because I was so restrained in Rutherford, and now I am taking time to learn to be myself, because I took a break. Like, I didn't straight up go for an agent or anything, because I was just going through this phase of I need to reclaim my own time, and I guess that's reclaiming myself, returning back to self, because drama school drowned out a lot of things, and it affected me mentally. So even coming into audition rooms, it was hard. Like, I say the closest I felt to being myself in an audition room was auditioning for Talawa Run It Back, because of what that needed. So I was like getting in touch with culture, getting in touch with myself, and you're in a room with people that understand that. But when you're constantly in a room where if you get mad, you're now the angry, like aggressive black man, is like, no, I'm as mad as you would be over a certain fact, but I don't have permission to do that. Like, you don't, those microaggressions just accumulated. So right now I'm going through time of unlearning that and actually just returning to myself, so I can just be, like you said, the individualism that the individual that's me, Aruna. So yeah. But how was, because you went to Oxford, right? So what was that like? Like, I know a couple people that went to Oxford, but what was that like? Because that's like way off. Like, where do you live? Did you move from, like, was it a jump? Because for me, like, Rose Bruford was a jump. I went from like an all black school, predominantly black, going to a white area. So that was like a switch. So what is it like for you going from like?
It was more like a strip back, because like the schools I went to were predominantly white, but they had like a huge like Asian black like kind of not influence, but like population. They had like there was a lot, like my best friends were black and stuff like that. And but it's just like it's a different environment as well, because I didn't always want to be an actor. It was like around 17 that I was like fully made the kind of, I fully committed to going down into this industry. So, you know, you're learning, and which I think is difficult, because when you're learning how to kind of exist in an industry for the first time, as well as you're encountering like certain transgressions that you've always kind of known, but it can be quite confusing, because you're like, oh, this is a weird mix, and you don't really know what to think of it. And like, yeah, I think it was tricky, because I was aware of the transgressions. I didn't think it would be so bad at like the school, like the highest level, in terms of like the principal and stuff like that. I thought like, for the most part, positions of power had always been positions of power, and not just kind of like oppression to me. So whenever in the past, when I felt the need to voice concerns, they've always been heard. So when it wasn't, I was like, wow, this is a whole different ball game. Wow, this is you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was difficult. Like when you hear people who you're supposed to, you know, trust saying really terrible things, you're like, oh wow, you don't know what to do. You just kind of keep quiet.
Completely off topic, just because I'm interested. What were you going to be before you were going to decide to be an actor? What was the jump?
That's a good question. Do you know, I wanted to be a pilot, and then I was playing football all the time, and then I got cut from football, so I wasn't going to do that. And then I don't really know what I wanted to be. I was kind of just existing. I was like, I'll just be like a teacher of some sort. I'll just teach. And then for some reason I wanted to be an actor.
What was it that made you like have that jump?
Man, do you know what it was? It was teachers. One teacher at the time. She was Mrs. Pender. Always remember her. She auditioning for the school play, and after we like did the whole thing, she was like, "Have you ever thought about drama school?" I was like, "What's that?" She was like, You should look into it." And then from there, I looked into it. It looked interesting. And obviously, I was auditioning for other things outside of like school, and I was getting interested into it, and it seemed like something I was good at and I could do, and it was achievable if I went through the drama school route. So, you know, I had to convince my parents. And then, yeah, from then on, just kind of like, it was not like my first love, like, but I've fallen in love with it now. You know?
Nice one.
It's beautiful.
All right. Now we get onto a song that our guest has had nothing to do with. They can relax, because we picked the lovely song that we sent to them. For this episode, the song is Here For It All, featuring Mike Nasser by Noah Slee. So we sent this to you, maybe about half an hour ago, son. So what are your thoughts, man? That's nice.
When the opening, it reminded me of the Drake and Sanford tune. Don't think about it too much. It has that vibe. It really has that vibe. It's kind of. It reminds me. It's like quite stereo. It reminds me. It feels like I should be playing it in the car on the radio, or like an old school stereo. That kind of like grainy sound. It's a vibe. It's a vibe, man. I was listening to it. I was just like, this is, you know, I could work to this.
Yeah.
Like, just kind of have it on in the background, just as kind of like elevator music, which sounds like an insult, but it's not.
What?
Because I need those songs that help me facilitate, or just because sometimes I can't just sit in silence and just work out. I feel like I'm in an office and I don't want to feel like that. So yeah, I really, you know, I might add it to a playlist.
It reminds me of exactly what you're saying about the car stereo situation, because the first thing that jumped to my mind was one of Jaden Smith's interludes on Childish Gambino's Quiet album, where he's talking about sitting on the beach and they've got the car lights behind them, so it looks like they're floating in it, whatever. Like, I was like, it's that scenario, but this song, they would marry up perfectly. Like, you can see it, how it would fit into like evening beach kind of film, TV show, background music, definitely.
Yeah. I think I'll probably hear that song in a lot of things in the future. That's the kind of, you know, a nice score. Yeah,
man. Agreed. That's literally the image I had as well. And now that you said that, it reminds me of the scene towards the end of Queen and Slim. Where he sort of sort of pops out the window, and it kind of reminded me of that quite vividly, and like the smile he does and stuff. Like, it's just lovely vibe music. I think neo soul is one of those genres that just vibes every single time. Do you know what I mean?
Without fail, doesn't miss.
Yeah,
Doesn't
miss.
Hits the belly each time.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this song. So like, where were you like kind of when you discovered it? And
Fam, it was a late night thing. It was like 2:00. Came across the song, and then it was on the headphones. I was like, whoa. Do you know what I really love about it? Is the way it starts. I don't know. There's something about it, about a tune being recorded, and you're just hearing it in its like natural form before they've gone to the studio. They've done anything about it, just recording it. That's what like got me, because I was like, oh, damn. So when I was hearing how the bass line came in and how they built on that, I was like, okay, like that's actually quite beautiful. I'm just a person that I love seeing growth and progress. So when I have that in a track where they just like strip it down, it's like, this was the naked idea, now this is how we take it, and then we've used it as a part of the track. It was just beautiful. And for me, I think, I don't know, it just resonates with truth more, like the truth of the track and just it being out there. But for me, it's fantastic for summertime. It's like bike riding, ironically, bike riding, or just being out with friends. Just the simple fact of the message of I'm here for it all. Like, it was your worst night, but I was here for you, and I'll always be there, type of thing. That's just, it's beautiful. Summertime vibes, you know what I mean? Like sunset type. So yeah, that's where it took me.
Definitely.
Young Dipo, thank you, bro. Thank you, man. It's been a pleasure, honestly. Shout outs to you every single time. Where can the people find you on socials if you want to drop them? You
can find me at Idris Alba on Instagram.
No. Don't leave me.
Don't leave me. No. I love that trend. I love it. I love it
so much.
I love it. I'm at _2 underscores at __ Dipo Ola on Twitter, Instagram. Anything else, it's not me. So listen, if they ask you for money, don't come crying to me. Don't cry, don't beg. It's not me.
You can catch Dipo on our post show, The Wheel Up, which is only on our Patreon. We're going to go record that now. But yeah, Dipo, thank you so much for hopping on the episode. Really appreciate it.
I can't change my energy, can't fake it. When I'm with you, I feel I can fly. And if this goes and we fall into stasis, not rugby, you won't tackle my pride. Fat pride, pride. Let's go.